The great research institutes, like the Garvan, tackle the big questions. The things that change the way we think and our insights into disease. And they're very special places because they attract the most gifted people, minds, to actually wrestle with the unknown.
Diabetes is emerging as one of the most significant problems that I think we're going to have to face this century. You know, these diseases often don't rear their head until quite late in life. But in fact, the root cause might start very early in life. So you might be born with some of the mutations that contribute to these diseases. You might start overeating food, but it might take 20 years before the disease comes out, if you will. My vision is that the major breakthroughs that we're going to make here at Garvan are going to come from interdisciplinary thinking. We need to work together in teams because this is a big problem, bigger than one person. But more importantly, we need to work with people who think about the problem from different points of view.
One of the great exciting technologies we've developed at the Institute over recent times is the ability to isolate very rare cell populations out of the body in such a way that they can be reused as a therapy. What's important in studying autoimmune diseases is to collaborate with the experts in the actual target of the disease. For instance, the neurobiologists who are working with the central nervous system in the case of multiple sclerosis, the endocrinologists who are working with the pancreas in type 1 diabetes.
The skeleton is a living, dynamic tissue and is constantly changing throughout our lives. And as a result, changes in our skeleton can lead to a number of musculoskeletal disorders. Clearly, one of the most important is osteoporosis. And certainly as we get older, 1 in 2 women will develop osteoporosis and have pathological fractures, and 1 in 3 men will also develop osteoporosis and have the associated skeletal problems. The plan is to build upon the past successes of the Garvan Bone Programme to develop a world-class programme that will tackle some of the most important problems in musculoskeletal medicine, particularly in the areas of osteoporosis and cancers that grow in the skeleton.
The Kinghorn Cancer Centre is a joint venture between the hospital and the institute, that has been very heavily supported by the community, particularly some very generous individuals.
We're putting clinicians who are treating cancers every day in the same building as the researchers who are doing the research, with the expectation that these people will now integrate their work in a way that will facilitate advances in cancer research. 3 of the big questions that we're addressing are: can we develop a blood test for early detection of ovarian cancer? What is the difference between an indolent and an aggressive prostate cancer? And thirdly, can we use these modern genomic tools to identify the right treatment for the right patient at the right time, i.e. the principles of personalised medicine for the better outcome of cancer patients?
In the last year, we have discovered several new insights in how the brain works, particularly how we can potentially regenerate neurons in Parkinson's disease. Or we have identified a new molecule that is critical for synapse formation, to learning and memory, a critical component in Alzheimer's disease. So it's not just the brain isolated from the rest of the body, it's actually the interaction we are interested in uncovering.
The tools that we've been developing over the last 10 years to map the epigenome now provides us with this wonderful ability to be able to map not just the cancer epigenome, but to be able to use these tools to understand other complex diseases and how changes in the epigenome also underpins disease progression. There's a new suite of drugs called epigenetic drugs, and these drugs have the potential of reversing the epigenome, of reversing the chemical modifications and switching back the cell to a normal cell. This is a very exciting time for people to be able to have the opportunity to get away from these toxic chemotherapy drugs and to be able to use these epigenetic therapies to treat cancer.
Ovarian cancer is diagnosed in 1,200 women each year with 800 deaths each year. So it's a very high mortality disease. And what we find is that women who are diagnosed at early stage, which unfortunately is only a minority of the women, actually have a very successful 5-year survival rate of 90% or more. Unfortunately, a majority of women who are diagnosed with ovarian cancer are diagnosed at late stage, where the 5-year survival is less than 20%. So the idea is that if we can start detecting ovarian cancer earlier, we can shift the 5-year survival to a more successful outcome. My biggest joy about the Garvan is that it's an extremely collaborative institute. I came from an institute where it was much more of a competitive type of environment, and it wasn't as common to share your ideas and to share your research. And here at the Garvan, we really do have a lot of opportunity to discuss our work with other group leaders and people, not even just in the cancer program, but across the board in other programs. The other scientists here at the Garvan are really good at giving you fresh ideas and opportunities to look at your work in a different way. And this is what, in my opinion, is the best part of science, and I hadn't found it in a long time, so it was nice to find it here at the Garvan.
So you have to create the sort of environment that allows gifted people to flourish. You have to resource those people, you have to inspire those people and be inspired by them. The people who support this institute are the lifeblood of the research we do. The support we obtain is essential for our existence, but more importantly, it's the resources that we use to attract the most gifted people in the world to invest their futures in medical research in the Garvan Institute and to create the future. That's what you do for us, the partners and supporters. You empower us to create the future. That's our responsibility, that's our mission, and that's our shared journey. So on behalf of all of the people at the Garvan Institute, I thank you very much for your past and continued support.